I've over the years had the privilege of being invited to be a featured poet at various venues in this part of the area. And in March 8th, 2003, I shared the stage at Steve Kolsch, who presented some of his poems, and I followed him. He's the author of the book Dancing Bear, and I've known him for a while. He's a Delaware poet. That's his picture. And I thought I would maybe do these poems, and I did a couple of these readings on film. And this is from that night. These are the poems that I read in my share of the program. And I'm just an old poet, so my poems have meters or rhythms and frequently have rhymes. I hope you'll forgive this old poet. You're learning new times. Childly schemes. Where would we begin, child? Where do we begin? Here we go again, child. Here we go again. We'll fight like cowboys, child. We'll fight like cowboys. Yes, and we have toys, child. Yes, we have toys. Knives and plastic guns. Has the war begun, child? Has the war begun? Library spider. Should spiders read? This is a question raised seeing a spider spinning silk in a library. One wonders if it wouldn't just complicate life if it should read. But then, why should a spider even venture to enter a library unless to seek more out of life than webs? Go, silly spider, stick to your weaving, for history and art are written on cobwebs. And we need spiders to reweave the damage that winds of ignorance can blow through our pages. But if spiders read, they might cease spinning to scan some racy novel. And why should knowledge die with spiders? In coffee cups. Cold wind drowns in coffee cups, sent to hell. Steam from the entrance, where the journey ends, rises. Cold wind drowns in coffee cups. And I, a vampire, I, a ghoul, suck warm life from where it dies. Black Mountain. This is a little like talking baseball. Black Mountain has some significance as a poetry style coming out of a university. Up on Black Mountain again, lost. I am here. All I have is bleak and barren rock and rough crags. Any second, I might step off a ledge, plunge free, float with the sky, the clouds, the bird, the plane, the Superman. But no, here I am, lost up on Black Mountain again. One rhyme in poetry. In our discussion group, we deduced how some distrusted rhymes, but I consider it a crime to excise rhyme from all lines. It isn't that I reject insight from unrhymed verse. It is that I expect delight from all lines first. Poetry is a pleasure palace of purity and pearl, a repository of risky phrase and repetition, a handsome home for honest homily, and the holy grail of quest for meditative quality and soulful question, down ancient alleyways of metaphor and allusion, or avenues of allegory and alliteration. It is freedom to be free. It's this and that, and me and you, and who He enjoys expression of the emotion within that sieves and stirs and soars our soul. It should be said, either plain or fancy, whether in verse as blank as a brick wall, or as elaborate as a lace lattice, without fear on part of reader or of poet, for fear is the death of art, and we all know it. Half and half. This is a poetry form called a sestina. It follows a certain pattern of rhyme and structure, and it's dealing with a particular type of freak from the old freak shows, the half man, half woman, and one of the most famous of those was Bobby Cork. My name is Bobby Cork, and I was a half and half long ago, when the sideshow had its heyday. I stood upon a tiny stage selling postcards, and if you would pay one more dime, I'd show you both. Chang and Ang Bunker, I knew them both, created by God, not like I, wishing all their life that they would be free, but together they'd go, from circus to museum stage, one and one until their dying day. Even sadder back in my day were the Tushka's friend, twin boys, who both stood on one set of legs on the stage. They did not live long, unlike I, who lived to see freaks come and go. You claim you wouldn't look, you would. If we couldn't display, what would we do to live back in the day? Where do you think a freak could go? To poorhouse or graveyard, or both? Locked away out of sight? Not I. Give me the freedom of the stage. Sell a ticket to the 10th stage. I will show the rubes what I would for the dimes that I earn when I tell them, you won't forget this day. Behind this curtain, I'll show you both. Don't miss that sight before you go. One more thin dime to have a go at seeing more than shown on stage. I'm the half and half and have both. I know you think that this life would grow wearisome day after day, but you are not the same as I. So here stay I after you go, freak of my day, free on the stage. Would you like both? I bet you would. Monday in the Park with Eugene. I wrote this during my last days at Wilmington Trust in my last year, when I would wander down to Hercules Plaza Park and sit on a bench and eat my lunch, and then wander back to a job that I was growing weary of, not knowing that they would soon grow weary of me. The man lay on his back in the center of the green. He appeared from nowhere to lie still upon the grass. Had he fallen from a silent plane to some odd death, ignored and unnoticed by the walkers that pass? What a strange sight across the expanse of open ground. His arms are thrown straight back, like old discarded clay pipes, awaiting some good Samaritan to check his pulse, but no one will approach the man to save their souls. Strollers go by in their noontime, lunchtime procession, circling the neo-brick sidewalks without a glance at this fallen, forgotten wayfarer among them. He is but a woeful stranger. Why take a chance? Eugene sits on the splintery surface of a bench, chasing an occasional yellow jacket away, and eating his lunch and watching over his book top the man still so still upon the grass where he lay. The sky is high, and the trees are a bright Kelly green. The day is toasty beneath the yellow noonday sun. The man jumps to his feet and waves his hands overhead, just another jogger stretching out for his run. Eugene marks his place carefully and closes his book. He pauses one last moment to enjoy the quiet scene. With a sense of adventure lost, he walks back to work, ending one more Monday in the Park with Eugene. Autumn leaves without fruit, twice dead. The title comes from a reference from the book of Jude, chapter 1, verse 12. and this was written during the anthrax scare in the fall of 2001. Autumn in New York after the fall. Wind blows with a sigh, with a shiver. Through the dust and ash and brittle leaf at the end of a broken summer. Autumn in our land before the flu, and already a dusting of white, already a chilling of the blood, brooding, malevolent malady. Autumn days of our despondency usher in our winter of discord, when the shadow spooks of All Saints' Eve may bring less fear than a Christmas card. Autumn in her time, like all time by, bodes one more long uncertain winter of desolation and bereavement, yet expectations of spring leafing. Travel is broadening. When I worked for Wilmington Trust, I used to do some traveling, and every year I'd go to a conference, and there'd be other trips I'd make, both to vendors and for educational purposes. And I flew, all those trips I kind of flew in a different airline. But you start to notice the similarities, and that's where this poem came from. Travel is broadening. First time I flew was American Air, straight to the airport in Dallas-Fort Worth. I thought, what an opportunity to have experiences beyond my own home as I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. I took Continental to Arizona and a bus trip north to the Grand Canyon. It was 92 degrees in Phoenix, but from the bus stop window I watched snow as I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. I flew Delta to Atlanta, of course, and stayed at a complex called the Omni. One Sunday I took a long walk downtown. Empty streets. No wait at the restaurant where I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. TWA took me to Chill, Florida. The beach was lonely because of the cold. The unusual freeze led to disaster. At lunch I heard the shuttle exploded as I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. It was Northwestern to Los Angeles with a stopover in Minnesota. Near Mann's Chinese Theater, a man stopped by my table with a Rolex for sale as I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. United took me to Mile High, Denver. I rode the van to the mountains of Vail, paddled a raft down the Colorado. A fond adventure I contemplated as I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. Every airline seemed like any other. Each hotel had the same lobby decor, and a picture hanging above the bed. I wonder where the regional Keller went as I sat and ate my Big Mac and fries. Time 2. This is the poem that I took my title for my one website from, The Drinking of Elder Men. Speak of the good days and all the good times. Quickly, time marches on. Drink the fine wine, lift up your cup, be drunk. The grape was a good year. Drink long and deeply sample. The grand year is nearly drank. Reminisce good times over our good wines. All the good times, if they are less dead. The good times are memories in the drinking of elder men, as if they exist, exactly as if they were. Now, I don't like the term morbid, but I guess this one's a little bit that way. It's called Visitor. Dead in the center of the bed, under the gaze of a bird at the sill, icy eyes glistening against the glass. Into the blaze of dawn the bird flies, shed black feathers flutter in the wind, and clutter the perch where it stood. Across the crackle of waking life come calls nasty, brutish, and short, punctuation looking for a sentence end. In the fade of the sun, in the rise of the moon, at the end of the day, comes the end of its flight. perched on a sill. It taps the pane, typing the period to the life now dead in the center of the bed. Travel notes. Sort of my ode to the 1960s. Oh, so coolly. I am turning into other things, yet somehow stay the same. I am sitting in my living room while I'm walking in the rain, and it's very gently dropping, dripping, dropping, falling wetly on my head, getting slightly slippery, rolling sleepily down my skin, rolling, sliding, and it's slowly seeping in, slipping through my skin, oh so cruelly slipping through my skin. Then I sit upright, facing through the light, to listen to my fright, for I feel a growing fear of some crashing I might hear if the thunder starts again. Oh, so coolly I am sitting in my chair, while standing over there when it begins. Thudding and thumping, bumping and bouncing, it is the thrashing of my fear, growing deeper is this noise. It is thumping on the wall, it is trampling down the hall, banging, bashing, slashing, shaking pictures as it falls, and it's barging through my mind, busting outward through my skull. Then it flows like washing water from a warming rivulet, smoothly swaying and swelling, and I can taste that I shall drown in this sticky lustrousness of a milky sunlit honey, and so dreamingly drift throughout the flushing, running flow of the straining stream, until it is as relaxed as music. My night is sadly funny. Oh, so cruelly there is the sorrow of her laugh, that rises where the water gave its bath, where every night begins. A star regains its twitching. My mind is pain and itching. Life and death are busy switching. I reach awkwardly for the wall, for it is fastly flying. I am forever falling, and the wall goes off so fastly flying. The wall has left me alone with it all, pressing for my fall, and I must crawl in the empty of myself. And the wall is flying faster. What could it be that it is after? And I am grieving, for now I hear a corpse that comes to stare, oh, so coolly, from my place upon the chair. Written 1968. So we will end this with a toast to you all. May the past year be pleasant memories, and the new year be memorable pleasures. May all your memories be pleasant, and all your pleasures be memorable. Thank you.